here on ZimGospel Masters online radio platform, your #1 publication that is meant to bring to you the good news of the Lord. And as I promised you that we will be joined by another guest from the Salvation Army, and Yenam is Caroline Motsi, the Salvation Army Captain Morden Slavery and Human Trafficking Secretary, and we'll be talking about human trafficking. What is it that you want to know about human trafficking? And as you know, the Salvation Army is advocating for human rights, for human trafficking. So she'll be telling us why, as the Salvation Army, are they advocating for human trafficking awareness, and if there are any victims from their church, and what are the strategies that are they using to raise awareness, and how effective are the strategies that they are using. So all that you have to do is keep on connecting to ZimGospel Masters online radio platform. So welcome to the show, Mrs.
Thank you so much, Chris, for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. And also thank you so much for you as you come. We really appreciate that as well.
Thank you.
Okay, so first, what is it that you understand when talking about human trafficking?
Ms. Chris, when you are talking about human trafficking, it comes under the umbrella term modern slavery, and it refers to human trafficking for different aspects. People are trafficked for labor exploitation, sex exploitation, child trafficking, early and forced marriages. All those come under human trafficking. However, we usually use the Trafficking in Persons Act definition for human trafficking, which is very comprehensive and covers most aspects, which defines trafficking in persons as means the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipt of persons by means of threat or use of force, and sometimes using the forms of coercion that are abduction, fraud, deception, or sometimes abuse of power, or just abusing people who are in a position of vulnerability, or for giving or receiving of payments or benefits. And this is done to achieve consent of a person having control of another person, or for the purpose of exploitation. So the end result is exploitation.
Okay, so what is human trafficking? Caroline told us human trafficking, not the exploitation of humans, transportation of humans from one country to another. And you know, I know one of the story of an 18-year-old girl from Zambia. I don't remember which year, but then we are going to Cape Town in the and then the moment all that you have to do, you need to be a prostitute. That's one example of human trafficking. So according to your understanding, who are the most victims of human trafficking?
So human trafficking, anyone can be affected by it, anyone can be trafficked. Men can be trafficked, women, children, someone who's working, someone who's unemployed can be trafficking. The purpose is that the traffickers will be benefiting, so they target different age groups, different sex, depending on why they are being trafficked for.
Okay, thank you so much. So as the Salvation Army, why did you thought that there is a need to advocate for human trafficking?
As I have mentioned, everyone is affected by human trafficking. So the church is not left out. Even our church members are also being trafficked to different countries. And maybe I can also clarify that a person doesn't necessarily have to move from one country to another to be trafficked. One can be trafficked from one city to another. One can be trafficked from the rural to the urban. So we realize that there are some people who are being trafficked even within the church. So for us to raise more awareness and maybe to curb and lessen the number of people being trafficked, we decided to raise more awareness.
Okay, yeah, that's really a wonderful thing. And in your church, is there any victim of human trafficking?
Yes, we have encountered victims of human trafficking. Of course, we cannot mention their names for the sake of their protection and consent, but we have had people who were trafficked. Some were trafficked to other countries and were repatriated through the Salvation Army in other countries back to Zimbabwe. Like I can mention, earlier this year, we managed to receive 2 who were trafficked to South Africa but were repatriated through the Salvation Army in South Africa, and we had to make follow-ups to make sure they are back and reunited with their families.
Okay, so sometimes kamundu anenge aitwa human traffic anenge ane that trauma yanenge anayo. So how do you offer support to that person?
When we make follow-up calls or visits, we make sure they are affiliated with organizations who offer the specific resources or offer the specific services they will be needing. Like for example, if they need counseling, we refer them to Msasa Project. If they need other support, we refer them to IOM. So we have different organizations that we refer them to whenever we manage to identify the type of need they will be needing at that time.
Okay, so as you are connecting to ZimGospel Masters, I hope that wherever you are enjoying as we are discussing about human trafficking, talking about what is human trafficking, and we were also discussing about how the Salvation Army is helping those vanenge vaitwa human trafficking. And I know at Hausgwa Zvakamwanda Zvikanzi vano offer support as vanova refer to different organizations for counseling as well. So what are the strategies that you are using to raise awareness on human trafficking?
So as the Salvation Army, as you know, we are an international organization. So whatever responses that we do are done on international level, as the Salvation Army is present in more than 130 countries. So we have what we call the Fight for Freedom strategy, which is specific to modern slavery and human trafficking response. And it is mainly based on the Palermo Protocol suggestions for response, and we have other forms that we added to the strategy. So we have 8 P's that we use in responding, and this includes prayer, which we reckon as the foundation. So in prayer, we have what we call the International Day of Prayer for Victims of Human Trafficking. We hold it every year on the 4th Sunday of September. So we have already observed that in the month of September. So all Salvation Army centers worldwide gather to have meetings to pray for victims, to also pray for perpetrators, and to raise awareness maybe a week prior or even during the month.
Okay.
Yes, so that is prayer. We also have prevention, where we say for us to keep this animal called human trafficking, we need to raise more awareness. Not everyone is aware about human trafficking. So we raise awareness through holding meetings. Sometimes we have a march of witness, or we engage people where we distribute flyers or hold out banners and posters around the city, depending on where that Salvation Army Center is situated. People will just engage those in the community to go to the community and talk about human trafficking. Then we also have protection. This one is more specific to victims, where we say when we encounter victims, we offer them shelters. However, at the moment, the Salvation Army in Zimbabwe does not have a shelter specific for victims. But in other areas outside Zimbabwe, we have shelters where we offer protection to survivors. We also have prosecution. This one is for supporting through legal proceedings. We haven't done that yet here in Zimbabwe, but in other countries where Salvation Army is present, they are doing it. And in prosecution, it is also a process where we help offenders restore their relationship with God, because we believe, if Paul could be changed from being a murderous person to preaching the gospel, anyone can be changed by God. So we also have partnership, where we believe the Salvation Army cannot do it alone. We cannot do everything alone. We cannot do it all. So we believe that in partnership, we network with other organizations. We network with other churches. We network with the government. Anyone who is involved in responding to human trafficking are part of our partners, and we consider them our partners. And then we have policy, where we believe in the creation of internal policies within our organizations that are specific to modern day slavery. And also we advocate for external policies within the government and other concerned areas.
Okay.
And then we have participation. Here we say we are reaching to everyone, everywhere. In participation, everyone is involved. If human trafficking involves everyone from a child to the oldest person, then everyone should participate in raising awareness. So we say no one is being left out. We reach out to everyone, those in the community, those in the Salvation Army. It's not just a Salvation Army thing, but human trafficking is affecting everyone. So we say let's join hands in participation and do something about it. Then the last one in our response is proof, where we say we don't just go around and tell people there is human trafficking without evidence. So whatever we say is based on evidence, and we also say as the Salvation Army, we are ready to participate and to contribute to research.
Okay, yeah, that's really wonderful. So I think PAMA strategies, as a matter of all of them, they are all successful because they like for proof. Ukafamba community usina proof, no one is going to believe you. And also Panyaya prayer, but then Panyaya prayer match you all gathered as my Salvation Army from the international level. What about the people in the community?
Yes, we have some centers where they invited other churches to come from different interdenominations to come and join them for the prayer meeting. We hold them differently according to different setups, but those outside the Salvation Army are also welcome to come and join us. And we have some time where we managed to join, like 2 years ago, where we managed to join other organizations and observe the day, and we managed to invite them and hold a very wonderful prayer meeting in Beitbridge.
Okay, so Pamatis or Magatoita, this event on 4 September, like you did also invite other people from the community besides the Salvation Army only?
Yes, because it's held on all Salvation Army centers, so the local pastors are responsible for organizing that.
Okay.
This year we didn't hold a national event, but it was decentralized to all our centers in the country.
Okay, thank you so much. So that was it on our Women Diaries talking about human trafficking. I don't know what panepo sina kunzgisisa ere panepo kuda clarity ere assembly come through on as our guest is still on the studio.